Buongiorno, welcome back to the Italian campaign. I thought I had another episode left of the war with the British, but apparently not. Just not much happened. So it's a little bit later now, December 1955, and the United States has sent us a telegraph threatening us for a war, and a war they shall have. So, okay, Romania just allied with the United States. That's probably not a good idea for Romania. Let's see. Let's go through what's happened. So I didn't get southern England. I just opted for peace and took as many colonies as I could, because what was about to happen was my armies were very close to taking a bunch of stuff in Africa, and I was already up to 50 unrest, and already at 50 bad things start happening. So I had some issues with rebellions in the Philippines, and there was one more place I forget that had to be quelled, and I was able to offset the negative effects of unrest by my armies taking stuff by taking stuff with naval invasions, because that reduces unrest by the same amount. So I was able to get it down, but it was about to go way up again as I was close to taking some tiny provinces in Africa, and the amount of unrest is not scaled to the size of the province you take. It's just a base 10 with whatever modifier you have for government, plus or minus. So yeah, I optioned for peace and just took the same provinces with the war operations instead. Also, France is gone. I also optioned for peace with them, took most of their provinces, and then they dissolved, and I took their last two, Togoland and Dahomey. After that, just armies taking it. Also, I was able to unload some unrest by fighting what the British had left of ships. Not very exciting fights, and there was a lot of faffing about just trying to make those fights happen. But apparently one of their very expensive battleships is worth something like minus 30 unrest by sinking it, which was quite a lot. It was the Lord Nelson class, which you've seen me sink before. Speaking of which, the order of these have been all messed up. No. Lord Nelson. There we go. That's the original, and that is my refit. I can show you them right now, so you can see what I did. I only got one of them. It was very expensive, and I optioned for more land instead. I could have taken even more if I hadn't gotten the battleship, but I wanted one to refit. So here's the original Lord Nelson design. Really not a bad ship. Let's see. It's got good radar, good range finding. It's got 19.3 inch guns that were shortened by 13%, but still 44 caliber length. So if I can only hover over them, here we go. As you can see, very good guns, actually. Very accurate out to 40,000 meters. And with good penetration too, so these were quite deadly. Now let's and the armor also very good, 7 inches of main deck, almost. Very good turret armor, of course, because it's an AI ship and they like their turret armor. Well, it does lack its 4-belt armor, so I was able to penetrate these bow on with my own battleships and battlecruisers. So that was their weakness. And also plunging fire from long range, but when you're dealing with large caliber Mark V guns, it is kind of hard to armor against that. Now let's take a look at my my refit. By the way, the order here is all messed up because I went into my fleet tab, and because I had just gone into peacetime, I wanted to organize my fleet a little bit, where the different ships were. So I I organized them by year assigned, and that just messed everything up, and I couldn't turn it back to whatever it was organized by before. Well, it was organized by laid down by default, but that's not actually an option you can select. So I guess that's how it is now. So this is the Lord Nelson, my refit. I kept it more or less the same. I wanted to keep its spirit alive, so to speak. So it's now got 19.5-inch guns instead of 19.3. They're 45 caliber length. We can just pretend we bored them out a bit. And they are now the largest guns in my entire fleet. The Dictator class is 19-inch. These are 19.5s. I also made the armor scheme a little bit more symmetrical. Gave it some better Citadel armor with Citadel 5. So the third layers, they are what's actually important here, because you can multiply this value by 10 to get the effective value for penetration. Well, this is multiplied by 4 and this by 2. So a 4.7-inch first inner belt is equal to, help me out here, math, 9.4 inches. So that is less than the main belt, so it basically doesn't do anything. This is multiplied by 4, which is 15.2, also less than the main belt. So basically this doesn't do anything, because the shells don't actually lose any penetration passing through the main and first and second belts. It just applies a modifier. So it's kind of counterintuitive. But the third layer, you can multiply this by 10, because the shell's penetrating power is lost by at least 90%. So this is equal to 30, which is a lot more than 17. So this is actually effective. But of course you have to have some thickness on the first and second layer to be allowed to place 3 inches on the third layer. So these two layers are basically the tax you pay to get that layer, if that made sense. I didn't know that this was how it worked, but apparently it is. So, and again, this is equal to 13, which is more than 7. So that is the advantage of Citadel 5. You get the third layer. And also, of course, in dip, you get more resistance and more better everything else, so it's kind of a no-brainer. But yeah, 19.5-inch 45 caliber guns. These are quite deadly, I think. And this is now a fairly well-armored ship. It's got turbo-electric engine. And oil 3, it had semi-oil originally. But yeah, that's how it is now. So let's go back to the campaign and start fighting the Americans. And also, let me delete the original Lord Nelson design and just keep the refit. Because things are getting kind of slow now with the amount of designs I have saved. Just going in and out of the designer is it's a lot of work. Anyway, also here, conquest of Uruguay. I got the invasion fleet, and I had my battle cruisers out, the Geo Scotties, provoking the Americans. Let's collect them. Let's see if we can fight some American ships here, actually. That should be our first battle of this war. Germany and Japan, they're starting to get a little bit hostile, but still kind of friendly. Germany's building a lot of ships, and their economies are booming because they are not currently at war. Germany was at war with, I think, France? No, the US. Both Germany and Japan were at war with the US until very recently. So that's why their economy has not been growing too much, but it's growing now, so they should be formidable opponents. Let's see, do I have any... where are my ships? Got a fleet in Singapore. Chinchu. The two Sanitas. Can they go and do some something fun here in the Pacific? I got Didi here in Apia. Where did that come from? I guess maybe? Do the Americans have any ships in the west here, in the Pacific? Or are they all in the east? Because they do have some ships, right? I think we're just gonna send them here to Cologne through the Pacific. Shouldn't take too long. They are stupidly fast. The US don't have that many ships actually, but still. Come on, what is this? Okay, that's a pretty big task force. That is a pretty big task force. Okay, Geo Scotties. I think this is more than we more than we asked for. Let's go into port. Let's call the big guns. Let's bring out the big guns. Here we go. I didn't see this task force. Yeah, this would wreck my Geo Scotties. They are, they're good, but they're not that good. Let's go. Alright, strike first. Sank 2 transports. And here we go. That's exactly the battle I wanted. My battleships were quick getting into the Caribbean. Ohio class battleship. Okay, maybe my Geo Scotties could have taken this. This is very slow. These are some old I think these are like modernized dreadnoughts or something, just judging by the speed. 6 15-inch guns. The Philippines class battlecruisers. 9 14-inch guns. 1 10-inch gun. Okay, and 9 9-inch guns. That's a strange weapons loadout. Well, I think we can do this. Okay, yeah, they look like modernized dreadnoughts. I was really expecting something more formidable from the Americans after the British actually had some pretty good battleships. Let's see, are we gonna do something fun with the DDs? We're gonna try. Just a range to the 30 kilometers. We're gonna try. These two, I guess, just go home. Honestly, I think the 4 battleships could have done this by themselves, but it's nice to have some support. The Bourbons will probably be very effective at dealing with the light cruisers and DDs in the American task force. Whoa, things are chugging along. Let's reduce the battleships to cruising speed, and the battle cruisers too. They're the same speed as the battleships. Let's also take a look at the enemy battleships. Where are they? That's probably a heavy cruiser. This, yeah. Okay, I misread the weapons loadout. It's not 3 double turrets, it's 2 triple turrets with 15-inch guns. I mean, sure. Now the battle cruisers, they look a little bit more modern. Other than some funky funnel placements. And the turret's looking very big. Not bad, really. This cruiser looks good. It's not a light cruiser. Yeah, it is. Okay, let's just focus on controlling our own ships for now. We started very close. We are almost in range with the destroyer torpedoes already. So let's just have them launch as soon as possible. These guys must get clear of the battleships. Speaking of which, let's focus down the enemy big ships first. With our own big guns. Already lost sight of the enemy battle cruisers. Here's one. And let's have the secondaries open up on whatever that is as soon as it is in range. Are these guys launched yet? Not yet. Heavy cruisers can slow down a little bit more. Console took some pretty big hits right off the bat. 14s from one of the battle cruisers. But we're already landing big shells on the enemy capital ships. So I don't think they're gonna sink the console. Let's see, this... Wow, that was a very big hit on something. This DD division should have torpedo range very soon. And these guys already have their torpedoes in the water, so they can just continue past. Trona and San Giortino almost had them sail straight into the mouth of the enemy task force. That could have been ugly. Boom. Do they have a lot of torpedo range on these? No, they did not have torpedoes at all. I think we're about to sink the first of the enemy battleships. And I mean, I didn't even... oh yeah, these are my torpedoes. I almost got very... almost got scared there. That would have been difficult to dodge. This many tightly packed ships. Indeed, these are safe. I've scored 9 torpedo hits. Hang on. Let me see if these torpedo hits were mine. 1, 4, 8, 8. Okay. Numbers do not add up. That means the enemy must have launched torpedoes at something and hit one of their own ships. Could be these torpedoes here. Yeah, that must be it. so I don't think there are torpedoes heading towards my battle line. This torpedo swarm is probably not gonna hit much. Might hit something, but not much. Oh, this is gonna... I didn't see this. Oh yeah, this is very good. This is very good. Yeah, no, I take this back. This torpedo swarm is actually pretty good for a long-range indiscriminate torpedo volley. I think their primary targets have been destroyed in many cases, so they're on to firing at will. That's okay. Trona and Sanita, you do not have range with your secondary guns to hit anything. Oh, these are two almost very dead DDs. What is this? Is that a light cruiser? San Diocino. Kill it. By the way, I'm also now allied with Scotland, and one of the first things they did was order a Dictator class battleship. So they did not waste time by going straight for the biggest and baddest I had. This poor guy is barely afloat. Yeah, we did not take a lot more damage after the initial volleys on console. Trona and San Diocino taken a little bit, but really not much. Yeah, we're good. This battle will not result in a hefty repair bill. We haven't even identified their battleships yet. Okay. Heavy cruisers. Let's get you closer. Let's get you closer and doing something. There are DDs to hunt. DDs and light cruisers. This poor guy. Oh. Being just fired upon by all the heavy cruisers. That's kind of pointless. They're good, but they're not killing battleships at that range. Let's have you fire at something you can kill, like this light cruiser. There we go. 2 heavy cruisers have been identified. Bridgeport. I mean, it looks good. It's got 3 single 10.6-inch guns. It's got a little bit of armor. Are you the same class? Yep. How about the DDs? DDs have long-range torpedoes. DDs are not super fast. DDs have no armor. I'm curious how the battleships actually look when inspected. This battlecruiser is dead. If it is a battlecruiser, it might be a battleship. that looks fat and slow. Oh, that's a battleship. There we go. Main. That's a lot of armor. 22.6-inch main belt. Didn't really save her. Mark 5 15-inch guns. Very powerful. Poor accuracy at long range. I can't see what it is past 40,000 meters, but I would not be surprised if it drops to 0 at 50 kilometers. The HE drops to 0 at 35 kilometers. Radar generation 3 gas turbines. Very affordable though, 1 billion. It's barely more than one of my latest DDs. And it's not as if it's it's an old ship they've just kept in service, because they're for some reason scrapping their ships every 5 years. So it is a new design. Rally class. Light cruiser. Easy kill. There we go. Lexington has also been identified. She's also dead. Very little armor. Mark 5 14-inch guns. Radar generation 2. Diesel 2. So, twice as expensive as one of the battleships. Very decent speed. Just very lacking in certain aspects, like armor. I think my Bourbons can easily deal with this. Let's go AP, guys. You can pen that guy very easily. Yeah, there we go. Huge damage going out. There's a lot of 10-inch guns. I'd set you to save. You found out that was a good idea with this class. Let's kill these guys too. Come on, Bourbons. How good are you versus the latest US heavy cruisers? Apparently quite. Let's go to auto. I think that volley is gonna do it. Yeah. That should be 2 dead DDs. And my battle line is just sailing on. They have the torpedoes ready. Nope. They did not live long enough to launch. This guy's trying to run away. Sadly, I have almost a 10-knot speed advantage on you, good sir. And I think that cruiser is the last one left alive. Is that the same class as the 2 we just sank? No, this guy has absolutely no armor. Not the one with the funky. Come on. There we are. Yeah. This guy has 1 10-inch gun, 9 9.3-inch guns. If it was my ship, I would have just not had that 10-inch gun there and gone with another triple 9-inch turret. And also the funnel layout is a little bit weird. Otherwise though, like good components. Just sad it has no armor. What kind of range do you have on that 10-inch gun? 37 kilometers. 59 caliber length. Okay. It doesn't have any good accuracy at that range though. So I think the Bourbons will easily kill this guy. Yeah, HE is probably the right choice given that it had very little armor. There you go, flooding with HE. You love to see it. That means you're getting full penetrations. Port Charlotte. At least it's not overpriced. 191 million. Yeah. It is a little bit refreshing after fighting the very tough British heavy cruisers and their very powerful British battleships. But I really do think the Americans should have come up with something better than this. Now, of course, are we going to fight them some more? I think they have some ships left. Sure. Of course, hulls like the modernized Dreadnought and whatever heavy cruiser hull these were built on, they are not made obsolete late game, so that if you start a campaign in 1940, as the US, you have the option of building something like a refit New Mexico or New York or something like that. But the AI doesn't really understand that it has much better hulls available in this era. It could have been building like Montana-esque battleships or even bigger ones. But to the AI, a battleship hull is a battleship hull. Canada buys another Sanita class battlecruisers. Vanuatu. 18,000 tons? Sure. Where is Vanuatu? Oh, I don't think it showed up. Anyway, we have a convoy battle here. Daedalus 1952 refit versus a Dallas and a Cheyenne. And we also have a Columbia destroyer V3 class, probably German built. I think Interpedo can do this alone, given what we just saw of the American heavy cruisers. Let's go. Yeah, I should probably have done just let the Geo Scotties do it in the previous battle and not called for the super battleships. What do we have here, Columbia? I mean, this is not terrible though. It's got long-range torpedoes. It's even got radar generation 3, so it's not an old ship. It's just way too slow to be of any use. Now, Impetuoso is a different story with her 41 knot top speed. We can make use of her. If only just to... let's just have it do donuts here at the start, and then call for it once Intrepido has sunk the enemy cruisers. Let's sink the heavy cruiser first. I was about to launch torpedoes at it, but I don't think it will be needed. But okay, sure. Sure thing, Impetuso. You can play with your torpedoes. Hang on. No. Main guns on the heavy cruiser. Secondary guns on the light cruiser. That is how I want to do it. And it's firing HE, which is effective. Secondaries are opening up on the light cruiser. Let's turn in case of torpedoes. Let's have the DD pop some smoke. It might not be the greatest heavy cruiser I've ever seen, but it's still capable of doing very mean things to my DD. I don't think its torpedoes are going to hit, though. Okay, just blow this light cruiser out of the water, please, Intrepido. I believe in you. Okay, Impetuso actually taking some hits here. There we go. Huge hits on, what is Cheyenne? Oh, Impetuso not looking too hot. Let's just quickly murder this light cruiser. There you go, and go on to the heavy. Whoa! That's not. Those were stealthy. It's the unarmored one. Luckily, Intrepido survived just fine. Being refit with anti-torp 5 sure does help. I think Impetuso might not make it out alive here, unless Intrepido can quickly dispatch the Frederick. What turret armor do you have? 14 inch, 13 inch. And you have turbine engines. I think we'll get it first. There we go. Impetuso is saved. Now let's just kill the transports. And torpedo has fixed most of our flooding, so that's good. Now let's just watch. Secondaries are opening up too. Probably what will do the most damage here. The bigger guns have a tendency to overpen. There we go. Here comes the secondary volley. As you can see, it is quite effective. The big 11s overpen, overpen, overpen. I don't know, secondaries. I gave you a target. Don't be like this. Okay, fine, just sink this one first then. There we go, just one left. Now the secondaries have no choice but to behave. And there we go. Very nice. Yeah, I should probably have just sent the Impetuso home to begin with. As weird as this is, at least it's capable of doing great damage to a destroyer. And that was the first month of combat with the American fleet. There we go, they got 2 more battleships, a battlecruiser and 4 heavy cruisers. For some reason they were not in the previous battle. Let's go. Let's go. Are my DDs intact? They are. Console actually the only one that took any meaningful damage, but it wasn't even that bad. Let's see, I'm still building my port. Transport capacity is perfect. Tech budget is somewhat reduced, but there's not really that much to tech at this stage. Just tiny things making things a tiny bit better. Are we gonna invade something American? Yes, I think we're gonna take Syria. Alright. Livorno Squadron, you are up. My army is already invading. So maybe French Guinea. I can send the invasion fleet to do that after they've taken Uruguay. Do the Americans have anything left here in the Pacific? No. Do they have a lot of ships left? No. I think that's the entire task force we are about to run into. Two battleships, a battlecruiser, 4 heavies, 2 lights, 6 DDs. Okay, I got 1 more light cruiser somewhere. But that's about all. That's about all they have. I'm gonna end it here, and we're gonna get this battle next time. Also, I'm gonna keep working towards a war with Germany and Japan. That's actually the main thing I've been working towards. This war with the US came, well, not unexpected. I did see the tension going up, but it's more like a side quest. Goodbye, and take care.